Welcome back to the series where we play every game in the world, ever. Mostly, with some exceptions. Today we're back on the NES with Rampage again, because it's been so long since we've played Rampage, we needed a little bit more of that in our life. This specific port was developed and published by Data East. So instead of the Sega Activision, concern here, we're getting this. And right away, it looks like we are limited to two monsters. Ralph is not present in the NES version. I do own this version on the actual NES, but I have not actually played it here. So let's pick Lizzie, just because. 128 Days of Destruction, crazy. We're gonna pick Lizzie specifically because we played George in the last one. So yes, considerably worse graphics. If you wanna just start there. Oh. The gameplay is also rougher immediately, actually. Your punches don't seem to have quite as much oomph to them. If there's one thing that I would give to it, I would say that actually climbing up the buildings is a little bit more responsive, at least from what I can see right away. We can kind of punch, yeah. So climbing up the buildings is more responsive. Actually, punching the buildings is less responsive. So you have a little bit of give and take with this. But yeah, as you can see, you try to punch it a lot and kind of nothing happens. It's a little bit of a shame. I'm going to thoroughly blame Data East. Mostly because they're so easy to pick on, They are my personal kings of mediocrity. Yeah, I'm not sure why you sometimes just straight up don't get it. You also can't jump just straight up. You only jump in an angle, which is a little bit weird to me. Okay, so immediately I'm prepared to say that the NES version is vastly inferior to the Master System version, and it really didn't take much time at all to draw that conclusion. It looks like we cannot, what am I looking to say? We can't punch straight and then punch at an angle downwards as well. You're really kind of gutted in terms of how much damage you can do to a building, but it appears that they have balanced that in a way that the buildings take less overall damage to fall down. At least that's what I'm noticing so far. Whoops, don't eat the skulls. You, the character, also take much more damage. I mean, look at how much we've eaten it so far. This is good, right? Yeah, that's good stuff. You gotta give multiple punches every time if you wanna make it happen, which is not intuitive. It's a real shame, Yeah, and you can even just see the frame rate of when you're moving through the air. That is not as smooth as on the Master System. So, yeah, Day 3 Sacramento. Want to eat well? Something. I didn't mean to eat that toilet, by the way. Lizzie's fist just kind of went wherever it wanted to go. Yep, and there we go. There's one death. We have immediately recovered, though. If this is like the Master System version where you get unlimited continues, then that'll be kind of a who cares kind of ordeal. But who knows what Data East have in store for this. More like Data Least. I'm sorry, that's rude. They tried. Yeah, it's an uglier game. It's missing content. Of course, one could argue that the exclusion of Ralph doesn't actually change anything in the actual gameplay, since all the monsters control the exact same anyway. They didn't start getting special powers until later games. And even then, those were... well, they were kind of important, I guess. I was about to downplay the role of the monster's abilities. Like, I remember in Universal Tour specifically, they added 3 new monsters. A lobster. No, they added more than 3. They actually added an alien, too. They added a lobster, a rhino. Gosh, what was the other one they had? Oh, a rat. And then they added, like, an alien monster as well, which was, like, your kind of, like, endgame unlock. Which I unlocked with cheat codes, because I was a little jerk about it. What else does a little kid do? Oh no, I can't beat Rampage. Time to cheat. To be fair, Rampage is, if you're trying to beat it the old-fashioned way, you do take a lot of damage. It didn't help that I started the game over every time I played it. I never, like, kept a persistent save file, which that's not going to help you out. We did fall off the building there, and that took a huge chunk of health off us, but, you know, we're not even going to really worry about preservation. We're just going to do our due diligence and play the game. It's no Ys, I'll tell you that. I'm still kind of like riding a high after that Ys episode. That was such a phenomenal episode. Okay. We were a partially green human, and now we did eventually turn into a regular flesh tone human. I was gonna say, can I... Oh, okay. We don't even eat that. We literally just... Oh, no, never mind. It just went off. The butt bounce isn't as satisfying either, because of the much slower frame rate. Yeah. Look at that. Dude, straight up blacked out the state of California. California's out of here. Going to Reno. Are those snow-covered trees in Reno? Because that doesn't seem quite correct. They were like, it's slightly closer to the mountains. Good enough. Alright. I'm a very tired man right now. I have, for some reason, been having issues with my face swelling lately. Like, my eye is real puffed up and sore, and I don't know why. I just woke up and it was like that way. And I really don't know why. My lips have been swelling at night too, which is exceptionally weird. That might be the case where you say, hey, get that checked out. I would say, you make a solid point. It might be not the worst idea. There we go. I just wanted to punch the truck. That was all I wanted. We don't really have a life counter as far as I can see. Not even when we pause. So I assume we'll just kind of game over at random, and then we'll say, oh, okay, well, there it goes. There goes our attempt. Is this bad to eat? I guess we didn't eat it. We just punched it out of the building. Well, good enough. Yes, I drove. Well, I drove for 3 hours. My wife drove for another 3 hours yesterday. Had to go to, like I said, a wedding reception for my brother. We didn't have to, but figured, you know, it'd be nice to go. So we did so, and yeah, that took up a huge chunk of my Saturday, which I usually reserve for doing nothing. But you know, figured, all right, I'll do something once. Search bonus. Oh, nice. We get a free hamburger out of the deal. Salt Lake, mutant spouse, something. I wish I could read that, but that by the time I realize there's something on screen, it's already gone. They don't give you a lot of time. Which, I mean, from a keep the game rolling kind of standpoint, that's fine. Most kids who bought this game probably weren't interested in the in-between banter of the levels. The game's still got character, though, you know, even with this being slightly bastardized of a version here. And this kind of justifies, like, why I play multiple versions of the same game. I'm not just like, oh, I played Rampage on the Master System. It's like, no. They usually come out a little bit different. Later generations, not as different, but it can still happen. Take, for instance, Disney's Aladdin. The Super Nintendo version and the Genesis version are literally just completely different games. Developed by different teams, different level design. Like, you can't play one and say, there, now I've played the other. But then you have games like Bubsy, where it's basically the same regardless of where you play it. But this is remarkably different. I mean, from an outsider looking in, it might not seem that way. Like somebody who's a little bit unfamiliar with video games, which they do exist. They're probably not watching this channel. But, I straight up got bombed. Look at that. Absolutely wild. Well, I guess I gotta focus on punching out the helicopters then, and eating the poison. Yes, eat all the rat poison. That's a good job. Man, I don't think that the Master System had the bombers, actually. I think the helicopters seemed a little less brutal. So, it's not like the NES is just totally missing out on everything. They have added a couple things, apparently. But yeah, we're, you know, making progress. We're still in that December 1988 release cycle. It's definitely been an up and down kind of ordeal. With kind of more downs than ups, admittedly. You know, it's that holiday release craze where everyone's like, get our game out in time for Christmas. Everyone will buy it regardless of if it's good or not. Because the kids need a new game for Christmas. And of course, as people so frequently point out about this era too, you don't really know what you're getting into until it's in your Nintendo and you're playing it. That's why so many bad games existed for the system, you know? There was no internet. You can just go online and read the reviews. I mean, even if you had a Nintendo Power subscription, you know, it was all pretty much just slightly biased advertising to get you to buy whatever. Oh, there's our first tank. Haven't seen one of those yet. Dude, destroy it. Nevada, Utah, and Arizona are gone. Ex-mutant is arrested for streaking. Alright, that's a little clever. Yeah, give me the food. Keep me alive. I mean, I'm pretty much banking on the fact that I'm gonna die anyway, but, you know, may as well, if you see the food, eat the food. Humans count as food, you know? Oh, okay, there is no holding the damsel in distress anymore. You literally just eat her directly, so no bonus points from that. That building went down quickly, and I somehow didn't release from it. Makes you feel dumb. And there's another game over. Now, that's our third life. I'd have to imagine that'll be it, right? Nope. We're fine. Dude, I hope this is a game where it's just like, they don't even have lives. They're just like, have fun, man. Kind of kill the point of even, you know, having a health bar, right? Maybe I don't care. Still at large, very large, in Denver. Yeah, it's a little bit less of a grand affair, isn't it? Nin Sega truly did what Nintendo didn't in this scenario. And I know that that was all 16-bit advertisement, but I don't care. I'm going to retroactively apply it to the Master System and NES rivalry, which there wasn't really much of, admittedly. Everybody just had a Nintendo. And then there were a couple kids who were like, I have the Master System. And the kids were like, what the heck's a Master System, man? It's a shame. Master System's been a real neat system. Ooh, hint. You can do things. I thank you, Rampage, for making that apparent. These are some small buildings here. We don't really got much to worry about. Oh, by the way, I destroy you. Hey, it took quite a few hits, which is interesting. Most things just kind of, you know, get annihilated in one hit, but I guess they decided they wanted to make the trolley a little beefy for some reason. I'd love to eat the toast, but not at the cost of electrocuting myself on the actual toaster. Nice, got both helicopters before the level ended. Big plays there. Albuquerque. We're in New Mexico. Man, shame that not every state gets their own entire segment. Like California was a full segment, but they couldn't, you know, they couldn't squeeze 5 cities out of Nevada. Wow, shocker. Or Utah, I guess, is an even bigger question mark. You'd be like, yeah, you got Salt Lake City, but what else beyond that? Oh man, come on, quit punching toasters. That's a death right there. Yep. But we're back. Maybe you just have unlimited lives. I don't know. I haven't seen a game over yet. So we're gonna hit the 200k mark well before we did on the Master System, which is, you know, kind of goofy. There we go. Gotta eat them out of principle. Can't destroy that building yet. We gotta get this one in the foreground. Don't let them demo it, man. Yeah, there we go. Get it yourself. The bank turned into a ban. That's the kind of destructive capabilities we're dealing with here. We have taken out the lower western arid region. And now we get another search bonus. Here we go. We found it. Whatever that means. Down to Amarillo, Texas. I figured we'd come here with the classic snow-covered trees of Texas. Unless they had meant to use a shade of green for those trees, in which case I still don't know what an evergreen tree would be doing in Texas, but what do I know? I'm not a botanist. Destroy the tank before it can destroy me? Dude, what's with these 2-story buildings? Is Amarillo really that pathetic of a town? Oh, no! So that's a big problem. In the Master System version, jumping into a tank shot like that... Oh, that's fine then. Jumping into a tank shot would, more or less allow you to attack the tank. You'd still take the damage from the actual tank shot, but you wouldn't get the knockback and you could just run up and punch it, which was the way to deal with that. These tanks appear to just kind of not care, which is a slightly bigger problem. But it didn't even really seem to do that much damage to me at the end of the day. Alright, here we are in Lubbock. Can't say I've ever been there. I'm sure it's a town that people who live there hate, because that's just how it is with the town you live in. You never are satisfied with where you live. You wish you were anywhere else. But as I learned, a lot of the time, and I mean almost all of the time, you can't just strictly count on moving away from somewhere to improve the quality of your life. A lot of times, if you feel like your life isn't great, it takes more than simply where you live. Now, that doesn't mean that moving away cannot improve things, but it's not just the catch-all fix for it. Met some people who moved away and had a much better life. I'm one of them. I met other people who move away and then they like move back to where they moved from within the year, and they're like, well, that sucked. It's like, yo, yeah, you can't just like uproot everything and expect that to make everything better. It's a little more nuanced than that. Your ad here. Alright, Tulsa, what do you got for me? More buildings to destroy. Yeah, I mean, it's still, you know, an okay stress relief game and all that. You're still destroying buildings, but it does lack the shine and the overall quality of the Master System. It's just not as it's not as well put together. But what can you expect when you got Sega developing it versus Data East developing it? To this day, Sega remain strong developers, for the most part. Every company has their failures. Dude, what about the giant skyline behind us? We gotta take care of that too. Alright, Dallas, here we go. Big city. And the size of these buildings is confirming that. You know what, let's just go up the other side. Don't even worry about that sign. Look at that. Building already gone. Oh no! The bomb! Combine the initial hit of the bomb with the fall damage, and that was nasty. Like, there went all my health right there. We're about to die again, for sure. And I don't feel like there's much I can do about it. Besides, you know, try to stay not directly beneath helicopters. Yep. I don't know if you actually have lives in this game. I think you literally just go on forever. Which, if you are the kind of person who, like, prefers your arcade games with the tiniest modicum of challenge, that will be another reason for you to not prefer this version. Me? I don't mind it, because, like I've said, I've always viewed Rampage as a stress relief game. And I don't think there's a problem with that. I know some people, they're like, the game isn't hard, it's not worth it. Mega vitamin bonus every week. I don't even know what that means. Like, when Double Fine announced that Psychonauts 2 is getting an invincibility mode. That's kind of like a super easy mode for people who weren't very good at video games. People were livid. They were like, oh, what, is that journalist mode? Is this what games are nowadays? It's like, it's what one game has the very opt-in option to be. It's like you don't need to turn it on if you yourself are so insulted by it. And it was just like, talk about a non-issue that everyone is getting flustered about. Am I, like, would I play it on invincibility mode? No. Do I know anybody who would? Honestly, probably not. Anybody who would actually play Psychonauts 2 that I know of probably wouldn't be jumping at the opportunity to play invincible mode. Maybe as like a second playthrough to, you know, like go through and see what you can do to break the game or just mess around. I could see that. Want to eat well? Punch slower. Is that what that said? Did it say punch slower? I don't even know what that means. I don't know what anything means. Dude, why won't this thing... There we go. I don't know if that just took several punches or what, but it was annoying. 300k, but if we truly don't have lives, well then it's no surprise. You can just kind of score as many points as as you can. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, I thought that I had figured it out. I thought that you could, like, bait a shot out of it, and then... There we go. Yeah, you pretty much just have to wait for it to wrap you around the screen, which seems counterintuitive. But no, I thought you could like bait a shot out of it, and then there we go, eat the human in the bathtub, and then get in between its shots. I should have known that was coming. We're gonna die. Yeah, we're dead. But we're back! No need to transform all the way down to death. Yeah, really, really weird that there's like no actual consequence of dying in this game. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe like 40 minutes in we'll finally hit a game over point and it'll be like, oh, you should have played a little more carefully. And then I'll be like, well, dang, that's pretty generous, man. Houston. I'm not gonna say we have a problem. It's just, it's such low-hanging fruit. This and the Master System version do kind of share the same problem, where it's kind of difficult to specifically grab people out of buildings that you're trying to eat. Sometimes you just kind of punch right past them, and that's a little weird, but you know, it's fine. Are you like on the roof? That's impressive. I don't even know how you got up there. Probably probably airdrop down there, right? I don't even know what got me there. Like, was that just the police car's shots? No? Doesn't appear to be. Well, not much more to say, you know. It is the downside of Rampage, is you run out of any meaningful commentary rather quickly. What else is going on? Witnessed a very controversial Formula One race. Lewis Hamilton won in a scummy fashion, which I don't know if was necessarily his intention to be scummy. But it was certainly overall questionable. There it is. There's your turkey. So yeah, no one in the Formula One fan base is particularly happy about that. Lacrosse! Finally, a place where I can destroy lacrosse. Now the question is, will the NES version have Minneapolis in it? Because the Master System version didn't. And will I be able to identify the buildings? No, there's not that much detail. I do kind of wish that the later Rampage games would have put more effort into like trying to make the levels look more like the cities that they're based off of. Because even like World Tour and Universal Tour, it was still very much like, hey, it's totally New York, but it's the same buildings you've seen the whole time. It's like, you can at least put in like a couple Easter egg buildings here and there. Maybe like the absolute newest ones that I've never played do, which I think the newest one is from like 2007 or something like that. I don't know. But there's potential there. I don't know if there would there be like legal issues with that? Would like replicating, say, like the Fauché Tower in Minneapolis and then being able to like knock it down in a video game, would that like incur legal problems? I guess I don't know. Like the architect would be like, I'm suing you for $10 billion, even though the Fauché is though the Fauché building is old and the architect is likely dead. All I know is, who wouldn't want to climb the entire Empire State Building and knock it down floor by floor? There's money in that, you know? Baton Rouge seems a little far off from lacrosse. Just, you know, if I'm being honest. You can't tell me that Minneapolis is like an irrelevant city. I mean, this game came out pretty much during the peak of Prince's popularity, and you know everybody knows that the only thing people care about in Minneapolis is Prince. I've always laughed that people like refer to his genre as the Minneapolis sound when he's like the only person who sounds like that. It's like, yo, maybe if there was like an advent of like 100 other artists that made that type of music, you'd be onto something, but that's not really the case. I mean, who else was big in Minneapolis in the 80s? Husker Du and the Replacements. They don't sound nothing like Prince. New Orleans, here we go. Unless that was not La Crosse, Wisconsin that we were in, and that was like a different La Crosse that I don't know about in the city. I mean, in the city, in the country. I don't know. We still seem very much like we're just in the dirty South here. Oops. Didn't mean to fall there. That was a grave mistake. I'm wondering, I've noticed there's a point where you start taking way more damage, and my assumption on what that is I think it's less that you start taking more damage and more that when you have full health, the health bar goes beyond what displays. That's what I would like to guess. I don't really have any way to prove that or anything. It's just a hypothesis. Yep, we have not run out of lives yet. What is this version? Again, I own this version. Like I have it on actual cartridge. It was a gift. I didn't check what city this was. I'm sorry, I blanked out. The lore has left the building. The Rampage lore. Thank God they made that movie, or else, you know, we'd all be confused about what's really going on in the in-depth world of Rampage. Why did they make that movie? I mean, I know I was clowning on it in the first Rampage episode, but like I'm still confused by it. I still don't get it. It'd be like if someone was like, yeah, we made a Pac-Man movie. And I know, okay, well, I guess we're just still in Nolens. This is taking a while to destroy it. I know Adam Sandler made that horrible Pixels movie that had Pac-Man in it, but like, I'm talking just a straight Pac-Man movie. Actually, because of the existence of Pac-Man The New Adventures, you could do like an animated Pac-Man movie. You wouldn't even have to base it off of The New Adventures. There was that Wii U Pac-Man game that was kind of like Pac-Man World, but not quite. And then there was this Pac-Man World altogether. Okay, so you know what? I guess you could make a Pac-Man movie. Okay, it'd be like trying to make a Galaga movie. How about that? That seems a little goofier, a little more ill-fated. That said, name one good... Hold on. Oh, yeah, so that was definitely not La Crosse, Wisconsin. That said, name one good video game movie anyway. They don't really exist. Try as people may. There's just no real reason for them. Like, people are like, oh, I'm so excited for the XX movie. It's like, why? When you could just play a video game instead. Dude, look at that! There is a transformation animation for when you're in the water. That's great. I'm glad I got to see that. Doesn't really matter, all things considered, but you know, we're trying to grasp any little level of polish that we can with this Data East version here. Data East desperately need any kind of W's they can find with me. Because my patience with them lowers every time I see one of their products. I'm like, guys, Bump and Jump was okay, though. A reasonably fun little what do you call it, diversion. I do feel like I was a little harsh on Burger Time back when I did that as well. Like, that is still ranked really, really low in my overall rankings list. But I don't know. I just didn't have any fun with it at all. And if you didn't have fun with it, well, that's probably as good enough a reason as any to not rank it particularly high, right? Like, classic status be damned. I know there are people who think Burger Time is this classic arcade game, but I'm like, I sincerely disagree. I found it to be more of a an annoying mess. What else did they make? Data East did Side Pocket, right? Which, if you want to talk about pool games, I guess was about as decent as they came for the time. So, you know, it's not like it's all bad. We're still in Miami. We better get to destroy the entire U.S. and not just like this southern belt. Like, don't cop out on me by taking out that northern side that doesn't have as many big cities. You know, let's loop around back up and make like Seattle the end game. If you don't do that, I'm gonna tell the teacher that you didn't make Rampage as good as you could have. And the teacher's gonna say, "What the hell are you talking about, man?" Apparently sometimes those bullets push you back, but only sometimes. Okay, Miami yet again. Here we go. Should have probably destroyed the building in front of this one first. But I think I might... No, never mind. We were still able to get that one down. I'm just thinking of East, man. Just dreaming of East right now. I'm like, why couldn't this be more of that? It was such a blessing of a game. I'm not even like an Ultra JRPG simp. I'm just like, I'm a fan of well-crafted games that punch above their weight. That's certainly what that was. This is not. This is probably an example of a game punching well below its weight. But again, you know, the NES... Back to Tampa Bay. The NES is not as powerful a system as the Master System. It hasn't mastered the state of being a system. I mean, which would you trust more? The entertainment system or the Master System? You're gonna make a retroactive, nerdy Sega fan out of me yet. Buildings destroyed. Done deal. I'm trying to think of any actual like games that have been on both systems that have actually been superior on the NES. Double Dragon. Daytona. RIP Daytona Speedway. But yeah, Double Dragon, I guess, is the obvious example of a game that was far superior on the NES compared to the Master System. I'll give you that one. But otherwise, you know... There haven't been a ton of games that have been on both either way. Just one little here and there, you know. Dude, what is going on with this building? Oh, I see. I thought that like blue background slot was part of the building because it's the exact same shade of blue. But no. There we go. Florida destroyed. Florida, another one of those states that has enough major cities to just justify being its entire own area. Mobile, Alabama. that so? So yeah, I think this game is also longer than the Master System version, so if you value just longevity over quality, that's another thing that you will like about the NES version. And I don't mean to like rag on this version too much. I mean, it's not bad, you know? It's just definitely not quite cut from the same jib. Anyway, Alabama must be destroyed, and we'll be the ones to do it. Because clearly everybody else has been too coward to put the kibosh on Alabama thus far. It just takes one madman to finally say, enough's enough. Tuscaloosa. I don't even know where Tuscaloosa is. But this seems way too major of a city to properly portray Tuscaloosa. Unless I'm just ignorant and Tuscaloosa's like the hidden OP city of America. But you know, if I don't regularly see you on like a band's tour poster, I'm just gonna assume that you mean nothing. So try as they may, Fargo is just not yet a big boy city. They're trying. God bless them, they are. But oh, I should have seen that coming. It's all right. I don't care. We have unlimited living capability. And even if we don't, we've made it to 500,000 points, so who cares if we lose all of it? Search bonus. I don't quite get what the point of the search bonus stage is, but I'm here for it. I mean, it does give us some more points, you know? And a beautiful, delicious hamburger that maxes out our HP. Just like real-life hamburgers, you eat them and you just become objectively healthier. Atlanta, Georgia. Home of Outcast. And blowing a 21-point lead. What's a 23-point lead? I don't know. I forget. Hey, there's the storm cloud that we remember so well from the Master System version. Finally made an appearance here. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna climb up this building at the far end of the map and do everything in my power to avoid that tank. Yo, we did it. And then we just have some fun by destroying it. That's what you gotta do, see. Now, if you have no buildings left, you might be in a bit of a pickle. But then the level ends, so never mind. Yo, get destroyed again. I don't want your tanky nonsense here. Got jolted by electricity there. I don't know what that is, but it appears to be safe to eat. Just put everything in your mouth, you know? Just like a child would. Come on. Ah, couldn't quite get that dude. Couldn't get the fist at the right angle. Still in Atlanta? Yeah, you know, fair. Atlanta's a pretty big city. Larger than Minneapolis, so I can't complain. And it's it's sort of omnipresence, I guess I should say. Dude, look at all the candles. And then we got the potted plants there. I assume they're potted plants. Maybe they're electrical fans. A little hard to tell. The sprites are a little on the shy side. Alright, and now this last building. You know, yeah. We knew this would be the case, but there's not a lot going on here, you know. We continue to punch. They continue to throw things at us. It's a symbiotic relationship. If we don't exist, they cannot throw. If they cannot throw, we somehow can't exist. Savannah. This is an accurate representation. I've never been there. There are very few cities I have been to, actually. I've been to Kansas City. Of course, live in Minneapolis. Well, near Minneapolis. As far as most rural Minnesotans are concerned, I'm in Minneapolis, which is, alright, well, not true, but we'll take it. I've been to New York City. I've been to D.C. Haven't really been much else. I'm not counting, like, cities I've passed through, because let's be real, that's just, like, laying claim to fame right there. Plus, I don't want to admit to having been through Cleveland. I don't even know if I've been through Cleveland. Oh, no, I've been to Chicago. I've been to Chicago. How could I forget that? And, you know, I don't know if you want to count Bismarck or Fargo as being cities, but I've been to both of them. It's just, you know, it's part of the hazards of living in the Midwest is eventually you for some reason find yourself in Bismarck and you say, why am I here? If you've never been to Bismarck, it's a fascinating city in that it's plenty big. Like it's a wide city, spans a solid amount of acreage, but there's like nothing there. Everything's just flat. It's just this boringly flat landscape of just buildings as far as the eye can see, and like the northern approach just like looks down into the city of Bismarck, and it's just this endless suburban looking hell, and you're wondering, what have I done to deserve being here right now? But yeah, I played a show at a pizza place there once for Halloween. It was fun. Except for having to drive to Bismarck, then be in Bismarck part. No, I'm sure Bismarck has its charms. If you like to live in a somewhat major city that doesn't actually get events. You have no sports teams, you don't get concerts. That's the thing. I don't even really necessarily like big cities. I get stressed being in them. But if I were in like a city that wasn't big enough to get things, I would be like, what's the point? Why even be here? Because that is the pure appeal of a city to me, is the fact that, hey, you get concerts, you get sporting events if you're into that, you get many cool places to eat. So you strip all that away from what is theoretically a city, and you're left with very little. And then you're just big enough to be on the radar of a giant rampaging monster. Now, in terms of flat cities, you could say, hey, Washington, D.C. is pretty flat as well, in terms of the building height. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but Washington, D.C. is also full of interesting stuff. You got all the Smithsonian stuff. You got the national monuments, which, you know, depending on how far left you are, you may hate. So I guess it's not really a selling point. But it's a very beautiful town. It's just a shame that I don't live in the era when you could go and get free cheese at the White House. Yes, I did just re-listen to the story of the Andrew Jackson cheese. An impressive moment of American history, and definitely a high-quality tale. Long story short, the state of New York was doing so well that the cheesemakers wanted to flex how well they were doing. So one dude made a 1,400-pound wheel of cheese and sent it to the White House, and Andrew Jackson didn't know what to do with it, and hilarity ensues. Oh, hey, it's my food. Yeah, delicious food. Ankh and Hotel. Alright, Nashville. I've been waiting all my life to destroy this one. Oh no, there went the Country Music Hall of Fame. And here goes the Grand Ole Opry. I know, that's rude. That's rude to people who enjoy it. I apologize. I've gone on record before saying there's good country music out there. It's just typically not out of Nashville. You're never gonna hear Amigo the Devil open for Dierks Bentley. You might get Paul Coffin doing it one of these days. I don't know. He's pretty good. Okay, well, I guess the building just collapsed on its own eventually. Things are looking frantic, but I still feel like nothing's really happening. This is definitely a rendition of the game where it just feels like nothing actually occurs the entire time. It's just kind of a nebulous black hole that sucks up all my time. Raleigh. Is that North or South Carolina? I don't remember. Again, never been. I am, of course, going to Las Vegas in pretty much exactly 1 month, I think. I do hope that it doesn't wind up being horrible. I have heard that they're reinstating the mask mandate thanks to the Delta variant and all of the incredibly helpful people who refuse to get their vaccinations. Shout out to all of you. You've made this made these past couple of years incredibly easy for the rest of us, and I am absolutely sarcastic. Get your shots. Dude, maybe like Hawaii is the end game. We're not going to see it though. This game is definitely longer than the Master System version. Not like that really matters. Knoxville. Is this in Knox County? This is where Kane is mayor. Yeah, the wrestler Kane. If you didn't know that, he is in fact the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. Ran as a libertarian because he is not a full Republican, but knew that he wouldn't stand a chance in hell if he ran as anything else. No, actually, I think he ran as a Republican, but he's a libertarian because he knew you can't run as anything else in Knox County and expect to win because the people of Tennessee are something else. No, Knoxville isn't Tennessee because we just got out of Nashville, which erased Tennessee from the map. Knoxville, is that Kentucky? Either way, it's not in Knox County. That's all I needed. That's all that I really needed to know here. Hey, I finally snuck in between the tank's shots and destroyed it. Beautiful. My ancient theory about how to deal with tanks has finally been proven. We're almost done with this episode. I'm not sad about that. Chattanooga. Oh, isn't that Tennessee? I don't know, man. Or is Nashville in Kentucky? No, Nashville's in Tennessee. Dude, I am blowing up right now. My internal geography is doing very poorly. Doesn't matter. They're all the same buildings no matter where you go, just like in real life. Do the butt bounce. We can only get 2 full bounces out of that before that building crumbled. Let's see, that's just not. That's not what I need here. Richmond. Virginia? Not West Virginia. Richmond, Virginia, right? Oh no, it doesn't matter. What does matter is that I didn't even get to destroy the Midwest. So, screw you, Rampage. The one thing I was looking forward to. Seeing what Midwest cities were repped. I think I can truly state at this point that you really just don't have lives. You taking damage does not matter in Rampage. At least not in the NES version. You just keep scoring points forever. It's honestly insane. Oh, I heard something. I was like, is there somebody in the house? Because I thought my wife got back from shopping, but no. It is literally just my cat sleeping in a little bed in the corner, going... It's adorable, but I was like, dude, what is that sound? Yeah, fall damage. I think I'm right on the money with my theory of the health bar extending beyond where it appears to be as well. Because, yeah, we're not taking any damage right now. But then once you start taking damage, you just start taking a ton. So, yeah, that's goofy. I'd call that rather poorly programmed. Every day's a good day to rag on Data East, you know. What an unexciting name for a video game company, too. Data East. It's just like US Gold, which I don't know why they're called US Gold, because they're based in, like, the UK or something like that. I don't know. They're very prominent in Europe and have almost no presence in the US. Unless it's US Gold, but I don't think so, because the US is always... It's gotta just, like, stand for something else, right? Well, I did the search bonus, but I didn't actually eat the food that I found. But it doesn't matter, because, you know, now I know. Nothing matters in Rampage. We had this desktop application called Stress Relief. I don't know when it was developed. I mean, sometime in the 90s, clearly, because that was when I can remember using it. And it basically just, like, overlaid this little, not even a game, but it was a stress relief program. Like, that's what it was. It just overlaid this thing over your desktop, or you could, like, take a hammer to your desktop and just, like, pound giant, like, glass shatter holes in it. There was a chainsaw you could use. You could draw all over. You could spawn a bunch of termites and smash them with a hammer and stuff like that. It was a goofy little program. I always enjoyed it. I don't think my mom was a big fan of the termite smashing part, though, you know. But Bodymore Murderland. Here we go. Yeah. Respawn as much as you want, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm torn. On one hand, the exclusion of, like, getting any kind of game over or anything like that kind of kills the point of it being a game, but it also means that you can just smash things to your heart's content and not even worry, which maybe there's merit to that in a way. It's hard to say. I'm of two minds when it comes to that. Well, there's that portion of the U.S. destroyed. Yeah, we made it like maybe halfway through the game. I don't know how much more there is, but look at that. That's a lot of the U.S. left that has gone untouched. Manhattan. Is it gonna, like, divide New York into, like, all of its separate boroughs? You gotta destroy Manhattan, and then Queens, and then Brooklyn, the Bronx. Is Long Island a separate borough? I don't know. When I went to New York, it was with my high school band as part of, you know, the band trip that every student gets to go on once in their life. I think they did it every 2 years, so like 11th and 12th grade could always go. We went to, oh, that's time actually. We went to Chinatown, we went to Little Italy, we went to Times Square, saw the Radio City Music Hall, you know, just some basic sightseeing and stuff, but it was alright. Great that I didn't have to actually make any decisions myself. I didn't have to do any of the booking or anything. Anyway, that's Rampage on the NES. I would call it much inferior to the Master System version. There's no actual challenge to it, which makes it feel like just kind of a pointless game, but maybe you're into that. Maybe that's a selling point for you. But yeah, the having to do multiple punches just to get a hole into a building is a little weird. Everything feels just a little bit off, a little bit rickety. The graphics are clearly far, far worse. Yeah, it's the inferior home version of Rampage for the time. I have no problem saying that, so... Sorry, Nintendo, you didn't come out ahead this time. Meanwhile, when next we meet, we will be back on the Master System for Lord of the Sword. I have no idea what Lord of the Sword is. Either it'll be another hidden gem of a game, or it'll be something that'll make me raise a single eyebrow. Whichever way, though. Join me for Lord of the Sword. We will have fun then, hopefully. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your day.